We are on our way to find the loves of our lives.
Men marry to validate their masculinity.
I just straight up left, and I feel really like disappointed in myself right now.
As a single mom of 3 kids, I will not be dating men that have kids. Nobody wants you because your baby mama left you for a reason.
Still very single, and the men we're not at dating in Vegas is truly the worst.
It's very rare that I see someone in person that's like, oh my god, like, you're really cute. Then 2 other girls showed up that were like really bubbly. I feel good at the end of it. I felt like I was a loser.
Welcome back to More to Life. Before I get into this video, like, comment, subscribe. Also, smash that notification bell just to be sure you get on my videos as soon as I release them. Let's get into this.
Good afternoon. I've had such a chill, nice morning, but I'm so excited because my friend invited me to a singles mixer at a bar tonight, and I've never done anything like that. I'm kind of convinced it's going to be mostly women. I don't know too many men that sign up for that. I don't know, maybe I'll be surprised. But yeah, I just don't really know how to act. Do I go up and like terrorize the men that are there and just be like, tell me your most embarrassing story right now? Play it cool, hang out with my girlfriends, grab a drink. I don't know. This is dating in your 30s, I guess. It's pouring rain. I had no other option. If this doesn't get me a man, nothing will. We are on our way to find the loves of our lives. Okay, update. It is 9:30. I think I was there for maybe like 3 hours, I want to say. Walked in with an umbrella hat, obviously, and immediately there was like this whole cluster of people, and they're like, you with the hat, you're so cool. And I'm like, I know. So we hung out with them for a little bit, grabbed some drinks. They gave us wristbands, which the lady failed to tell me about when she put it on, but the group of people told me that everyone has like a different name. So I'm Jessica Biel, and you're supposed to find like your partner in real life. So Justin Timberlake, my stepsister would love that. So all night I'm like, I'm looking for Justin Timberlake. I made it on my phone. I'm like, I'm looking for Justin Timberlake. Never found him. But that was supposed to be my soulmate, so R.I.P. But it was fun overall, but no love connections. Just kind of had fun.
Now I gotta say, you said your love connection was Justin Timberlake, and you wonder why you receive no love connections. Now you were there definitely looking for Justin Timberlake or somebody comparable, and you are very average at best. Looking at you, the makeup, the cake up is not real. That's not really you. And with the cake up, you're not the cat's meow. So this is the problem. Most of them go to these singles events and they expect the best. And look at her, umbrella hat, a multicolored umbrella hat. You're overweight. Get it together. And you go there with army pants on. You can't make this stuff up, y'all. You can't make it up.
So I had another events and adventure little like singles mixer tonight, and it was a like under 40s specifically one, so I was like super excited to go to it. And it was at this like dart club, this flight club thing in Boston. I was like, all right, cool. And I don't think I just realized what that meant, that it being on like a bar on Saturday night, like in a popular like ritzy district, would just be like super crowded. But I got there like a tiny bit late, and actually I got there on time. I was like, I just gotta pee real quick, and then I just got really nauseous and like really like anxious while I was in the bathroom, and I like legit walked out to like where the group was, and it was like 20 to 30 people all just like sitting there like watching one person like throw the darts, and I was like, this is literally my worst nightmare. Like, I don't like going into like established groups, and I just get like super overwhelmed with like feeling like I'm intruding, and like especially if I'm not feeling in like an outgoing mood, which I'm kind of just like like tired now, so like I'm not like super outgoing, and it was just like so overwhelming. I literally was like, I don't think I can be here right now. I don't think I can be here right now. So I left. I didn't even do the event. I just straight up left, and I feel really like disappointed in myself right now because I feel like I didn't even give it a try. But I had to also listen to my body, listen to myself, and I know that me almost throwing up from just being anxious and nauseous isn't exactly indicative of me about to like have a good time and be like good company. So you win some and you lose some, I guess.
She sounds like she's never been in love before because that's love. You get the flutters, you get scared. You never know what's going to happen, right? So if that's the feeling you get from going to a bar and meeting new people, your chances at love extremely slim. Think about it. Now, most women have that problem, the fear of meeting new people, but they want to meet new people. You have some that just all day long. Then you have a lot of them that are like her. And how are you gonna meet the love of your life? It's wild because that's this next lady's problem. This next lady had a problem, and you guys gotta see it. Let me play the video.
It didn't go well. It actually was kind of catastrophic for me. I will tell you why. I learned that I am just not competitive enough to go to these singles mixers. I'm just not. So like I said, this was my first time going by myself. Normally I have my friend there as like a wing woman and a buffer, and that really helps me. But I am generally so anxious. Like it's just how I am. Like I can control it, but I'm just a very nervous person. So they had like these tables set up where people can like play card games, and I was at the table playing this game, and this guy comes and I thought he was so cute. For context, it's very rare that I see someone in person that's like, oh my god, like you're really cute. He was even standing next to me while we were playing the card game. We had light conversation, intro, my name is blah, 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 blah. But then two other girls showed up that were like really bubbly and outgoing, and they started talking, and then it just progressed from there. And it got so bad, when I say bad, I mean good for them, that at some point I was just like, okay, I lost that one. And I did talk to some other guys there, and it was cool, like very cool, friendly conversation, but it didn't really go much further than that. It was always like a one-off, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. And I understand that like flirting and like getting to know new people is a skill, and I'm gonna have to just keep trying it. But I also don't like the feeling of like competing. It felt really competitive to me, because when you're in a social setting like a singles mixer where people are there for like common reasons, it becomes really apparent what like the stock is, like the food chain, you know what I mean? Like they're always going to be the hot items, the people that everybody wants to talk to. And if you fall outside of that list, you really have to know how to be a good conversationalist. And when I'm by myself, I'm not. And it's just an L that I had to take. But y'all, I left feeling so defeated, because I was like, oh my god, I had so much steam. I was so excited to just go out there and push myself, and I did not. I felt like I let myself down. Like I didn't feel good at the end of it. I felt like I was a loser.
The way she said it, I felt like I was a loser. Yeah, you were, because see what happens to men, and this is why a lot of men aren't talking to you anymore or chatting, right? Men are used to being rejected. Now you never been through that situation. You haven't really had to compete with another woman, but it happens all the time. You just don't see it. Say if you ever attended a nightclub, that's happening to you. Guys are not choosing you because there are other women there that are better. You're competing. Even at work, no matter what you do, you're competing. Life is a competition. But what's happening with most women, they're not competing. It's not in their DNA, because it is for a man to do, but things were peachy keen back in the days. Yes, I said peachy keen because it was beautiful. All you had to do was be feminine, show you're willing to do more, and a guy will do it for you. But I'm not saying you. What has happened is so many others. Maybe not you. You don't seem like a feminist propaganda lady, right? Or a lady that bit that pill. You don't seem like that. But it put a bad taste in so many guys' mouths. Their brains are tainted because of the way society is nowadays. And because it's tainted, it actually is biting you in the butt. And your man was taken twice. Seriously. Well, you know what men do? Men work on speech or talking to women. Say men will probably go to a pickup artist. I don't shun that because a lot of it is needed. A lot of guys need pickup artists to get out there and talk. But you may need the same thing. You need a dating coach, actually. Seriously, a lot of women do.
Do y'all know why men marry? Men marry to validate their masculinity. Huh? Women marry for emotional connection. So if they have these soul ties to one another, regardless of how long it's been, regardless if they have this child, you create a soul tie, a very strong soul tie with somebody when you have a child, create life with them. Yeah. So that's the reason they keep bouncing back to each other.
You threw me off. You talking about unmarried men married to? No, that's not true. Men marry because they're in love. Men don't marry to stake their claim. That's not how we think. We marry because we're in love. Women marry for the marriage. For the, oh, I did this on that day and I did that on that day. And it's just a distant memory because pretty soon, 5 years, 10 years later, they're getting divorced. Men do not marry. They do marry to stake their claim, but to make sure that's their wife. Because men are the last and would rather not leave a marriage. But I'm not going to go deep into that because we already know the stats.
As a single mom of 3 kids, I will not be dating men that have kids.
So you want a +1 but comes with a +3?
You guys are not to be taken seriously. Nobody wants you because your baby mama left you for a reason.
Feeling is mutual.
But they supposed to take you serious with a whole daycare in the background.
If you are not licking the floor that I walk on, you are not going to be with me. Like, my standards are so much more higher now than before I had kids, which is insane. So if you want to be with me, you're going to have to be a stepdad of 3 kids. I have 2 boys and a little girl. And my kids are bad. Mm-hmm.
Not interested.
Now that sounds like single for life standards.
It sure does.
I know what comes with dating somebody with kids, and I don't want it. I don't want none of the drama. I don't give a fuck about your baby mama. If you're gonna be a stepdad, you are gonna have to pay for some of my kids' things. Like, if you want to take that role of a stepfather, you have to pay for some of their things. There's just no way that you're just gonna be my partner and not a father figure for them, you know?
Now, girl, just because somebody pay for something does not make them no father figure. And they came out your cooch. Your responsibility.
A lot of you may ask yourself, what are you gonna bring to the table, Lindsay? What are you gonna... My fucking love and affection, bitch, and my fucking time. Like, that's what I'm gonna bring to the fucking table. You're gonna be with me because you love me, not because you have to use me for your benefit. Like, I am traumatized, okay? So you either love out of me...
Oh, man. All of the cursing. A guy doesn't want to love the uck out of anybody. Acting the way you act with 3 kids?
It's delusional.
Sayonara.
And of my kids? Or you're just not gonna be with me at all.
Good luck with that. Because I don't think nobody is shopping on the clearance rack for a family.
This lady, she got on TikTok. Number 1, to make content to get paid. It's true. This is how she feels. She feels in her heart she's going to trap a man with no kids to take on her 3 kids. Is she serious? Because she thinks she's a 10. I bet you if you asked her, what do you see yourself as? Oh, I'm a 10 up and down. No, you're not. You're not a 10 up and down. You curse about 3, 4 times, 5 times when you were talking. You're self-entitled. If you're an 8 or a 7, that brings you down 3 points. Seriously. Who's going to want to stay with you when you act like that and you talk like a sailor? No man wants to deal with someone talking like that and also snacking on a plate full of food as you're talking. These women, man, no morals, just don't care. So you know what's happening? Guys don't care either. We'd rather take our ball and go play on another court.
Can we talk about the man that got out of a toxic relationship years ago? He probably decided to remain single rather than risk his sanity again. Now it's been so long that he no longer actively seeks a relationship anymore. And it's not that he's sworn them off, it's just that he has no reason to chase something when he's already found his peace.
In a single epidemic, like an overwhelmingly large amount of people who are single, yet everyone seems to be looking for love. And I'd like to add my 2 cents as to why I think that is. I think it's 3 main things. I think one, everything has to be social media approved now. It's not enough for you to find somebody that makes you happy. You also have to find someone that is going to put you in a relationship where you're able to brag about it all on social media, and that's not helpful. 2, the idea that there is going to be this perfect person who completely understands you upon meeting them, and you won't have to communicate the way that you want to be treated, and you won't have to have these tough conversations, and everything will just work out perfectly. That's not helpful. And then 3, which I think is like probably the most deadly and something that I myself am very guilty of, is that we have gotten so far into like encouraging everyone to be independent and be happy on your own, which is important. I say it all the time. It is very important. But I think that we're kind of in a point where we've overcorrected. Like, you keep seeing this rhetoric of like, oh, you don't owe people this, you don't owe people that, like, you don't have to put up with that. And I think that you guys are missing the fact that, like, when you are in a relationship with someone, even if it's not romantic, even in a friendship, there are going to be aspects of this relationship that are not necessarily pleasant all the time. And the solution can't always be, well, never mind, I'm just going to be single, I'm just going to be by myself, or let's just go no contact, let's just not even be friends anymore. That's not the solution. Everything cannot be solved by, oh, I'll just be by myself and let's just not do this anymore. That's not how you stay in a relationship. Yes, you do need to be independent. Yes, you need to get to a place where you are happy on your own. But if you want to be in a relationship, it is going to come with tough decisions, and decisions that will come where you could make the choice to say, I'm just going to be single, let's just not try anymore. Or you could compromise and be patient and be forgiving. Like, being in a relationship of any sort, again, not even romantic, being in any sort of relationship is going to cause you to have some sort of a conflict. And you can't solve conflict if your very first or last answer is to just say, let's forget it, let's just split up. That's not how you stay together. I'm glad and I'm grateful that society, and women specifically, really women, have moved past the point of needing to be in a relationship because, like, if you weren't attached to a man, then you could not provide for yourself. I'm glad for that. But all
right, so society and women, she said, have moved past a point of wanting to be in a relationship. He asked me, I'd say women are dying to be in a relationship, and men have done that. Check the stats. There are some guys that are facing a singleness epidemic. There are. But that's only because you ladies are choosing unwisely. Kat and Tyrone is not trying to stay in relationships. They're not. But that's who you all are dating. Just ask a man. Why don't you ladies ask men what the issue is? Why can't we find a man to be loyal to us? And we'll tell you. Look at this. Look at that. Take a look. Answers are here.
Reason why your grandparents and all of them stayed together was because they had to stay together and they didn't have any choice. And that it's great that we're not in that anymore. But I do think in order to maintain a long-term partnership, especially someone you want to be with for the absolute rest of your life, you do need to have a mindset of like, okay, I'm going to be in this. Like, leaving actually is not an option. Like, I'm going to stay and I'm going to make this relationship the best that I can make it because that's what I committed to. That's what I decided to do. And leaving and being by myself is not an option. But when everybody is so quick to say, let's just give up, throw my hands up and walk away, you can't stay together that way. That doesn't make any sense. And again, this is something that I'm guilty of. I've talked about this multiple times. Like, I'm the very first person to throw my hands up and say, just don't call me no more. Leave me alone. But again, that's not how you stay in a relationship. And I think that a lot of us are at that place, both men and women, where we have decided it's easier to just be by myself. And yes, it is easier in a lot of ways for you to be by yourself, but that doesn't mean that that is the answer, especially since there's only so much growing and self-development and healing that you can do when you're by yourself. Once you get to a certain point, you need someone there to reflect you back to you. You need someone to show you your shortcomings. You need somebody to show you the things in you that still need to be healed. So being single and being alone and just giving up on having relationships as soon as they get tough is not the answer. And I really do think that is why we're in such an epidemic.
Now, this is why we're in such an epidemic. People like you have no clue of what's going on. If you don't. And I know you guys are probably like, Jay, it's the same message for everything because it's really that simple, right? These ladies, all they see is what they're going through. Remember she said, oh, that's why I'm a happy woman that's choosing to be single. No, women are not giving most guys a chance. That's what's happening. And they're all randomly banging the same guys. It's crazy. You gotta see it. Like they refuse to see it. They won't. And that's what's wrong with the date market now. Is that you do have a handful of guys. Actually, not a handful. Most guys are out of the game. What's happened is now most guys choose not to be in the game. I say it like this. Most guys need to go overseas, or most guys, not just overseas. If you can't afford the one to go overseas, find the woman where you are who's not for the games. Not for the games. But I do think this. I think all men, if they're shy, they should get a dating coach. I think all men need that. All men, especially if you're a man that watches my content and you're in the home all day and not doing anything, you don't see any hope. I say this, young fella, you gotta get out there in the streets. Work on your confidence and get out there. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. Are the women a nightmare? Yes, they are. But you gotta do something. A lot of guys are virgins and not talking to anyone. And I don't want to see that for anybody. It causes, suicide and many different things. But if you're a guy that's doing that and that said no mas, completely. I've dealt with them before. I've dealt with the headaches. I choose to do this and that and save my money and not be bothered. That's different. That's different. Salute to those guys.
When your friend drags you to a single mixer, ending the last 3 days moving. I was so exhausted, so I left after 30 minutes. Still very single, and the men we're not at dating in Vegas is truly the worst. Lol.
She went there to a singles event, right? She claimed she was tired. But can you guys tell me what happened? Look at her face. She went there, didn't see her choice. I see nothing but white guys. I see nothing but cowboys, right? So what happened? Be honest. She went there. That wasn't her style of event. She's used to going to things and finding the man she wants. If she's not a cowgirl, but she doesn't look like one, she's not going to find a guy she wants at that event. So a lot of them wasting their time. Says still very single, and the men were not it. The men were not it. Dating in Vegas is truly the worst. I'm done.
That when you hit 30 plus, or if you 28, 29, 30 plus, you can't drink no more. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I used to drink a whole fifth by myself and wake up to work alert like, hey, how you doing today, guys? I used to wake up early in the morning, go to work like, yeah, give me a coffee and put me on the phones. I'm ready to go. And now I swear I need 2 days minimum laying down. I ain't been to the gym in 3 days. And the worst part is, once you get me lit on like Christmas on Wednesday, then I'm making plans. I'm calling all my friends like, yeah, I miss you. We about to get lit. What you doing on Saturday? We going out. We having a ball. We about to hit the city. We about to hit the streets. Get ready. Go buy an outfit. Saturday come, they call my phone. Oh, I've been asleep all day, bruh. I'm just like dead, bruh. I ain't gonna lie to you, bruh. I can't even function right now. Just hit me up later. Maybe we can go. My mother, some of y'all on steroids or something. I don't know how y'all got so much energy. I don't know what type of steroids do this. Whatever steroids Steph Curry got to run around 40 picks at 35 years old. That's the type of roids y'all on. So y'all can drop 30 shots in one weekend and still be at work on Monday and you 30 plus years old. I don't know what y'all is on, man. I've been half asleep for 5 days. Sheesh.
I could sick of that demotion right there. But I gave up alcohol though. You know what it took. I remember during pandemic, I was so bored. That's when I gave it up too. Because during pandemic, what was that? My late 30s, pushing 40, and all I had to do was drink alcohol and eat food. So I got real big because alcohol with food and not working out. I wasn't working out at the time. Bad combination. I got big, but woo, I was lit. And I couldn't hold my liquor, right? So I'm sitting at home, B and K, just lit, nothing to do. That's when I thought about it. And before I hit 40, I actually gave it all up. And I thank God for that. I gave it all up. Gave up alcohol, cigarettes at the same time. Never drink and smoke again since about 3 years ago. And I thank God for that. But yeah, drinking is for the birds. Really, you're doing it because you're bored. It's really nothing to it.
There's a video floating around of this girl talking about how y'all are intimidating men with y'all degrees. Y'all know how y'all love that coping mechanism. But let's really tell the truth about it. Let's tell the truth. Y'all are not intimidating most men. What's happening is a lot of y'all, when you get these degrees, you get it so that you can feel bossed up, so that you can feel like you that girl. A lot of y'all couldn't compete in looks with other women, but you can in things that you can obtain, like degrees, houses, cars, material items. And so once you get those things, it makes you feel like you're a better caliber of woman, right? And a lot of people can tell this about you just by being around you. It don't even have to be limited to men. I done been around women who once they get them degrees and get the money, their attitude becomes very nasty. And they think that it's all about them because they got those degrees and because they have money. Then they start looking down on people, talking crazy to people, and they just develop this really nasty attitude. And men find that to be off-putting. Most people find it to be off-putting, right? But you think it's intimidation when it's really you're just nasty. You think that you're better than people because of what you've obtained. Materialistic most of the time, right? You think you're better because you got a luxury car, because you live in a nice house, a penthouse, because you got a bunch of designer. And you got the mindset of how men maneuver when they get money. You think that that money is attractive to men. You think that the power that you have is attractive to men, but most men don't see it that way, right? So when you be out here, you trying to figure out, well, why these men don't want me? I got so much to offer. I got this. Yeah, that would be great if you were a man, right? And that would be attractive to women, but you're not. You're a woman. And so a lot of y'all, you so focused on obtaining all of this materialistic stuff that a lot of y'all end up being homely looking. You forget about the fact that you need to upkeep your looks. And so men are not physically attracted to you, but you somehow in your mind think that because you got so much to offer material wise, that they're going to overlook it the way you would overlook it when dating a man who got a lot to offer material wise. But again, that's not how it works when you're dating men. No man has ever looked at a girl and was like, yo, she busted, but look at that Louis bag she carrying. She dropped a Benz though. Look at that mansion she live in. Right?
Are we caring about that?
Right? Unless he wants to use you, those things that you have material wise can't override if he don't physically like you. Then when it comes to the actual intelligence part, a lot of y'all are sitting with bachelors, masters, doctorates, but you're getting played by men who barely got GEDs, men who can barely read a sentence out loud. What good is those degrees? What good is all that school, you being book smart if you're failing at life? Simple things at life you're failing at. Men able to lie and manipulate you with silly stuff that a child could catch the red flags on. You're believing men who can only call you at nighttime from the car. You're believing men telling you that they stay with their baby mama, but they not together. You're believing men who tell you that they like you, but they'll never take you on no date. Simple stuff that a child could catch the lies on. You're failing. And somehow you think that somebody would be intimidated by a degree? What good is it doing you when you can't even catch simple lies that somebody's telling you? When you can't even see red flags that's right in front of your face? No, nobody's intimidated by it because it's not stopping you from getting played.
She said it all. I don't need to say a thing.
Do you know what needs to be studied? How people talk to single women. And like, I'm somewhat newly single, right? Haven't been in a long-term relationship, so I kind of forgot what it's like. But I've had some reminders recently that I'm going to share with you, right? So people I work with, right? It'd come up that I went on a date, right? And then a couple of weeks later, it came up again, and then they were reminded, something in the conversation reminded them that I'd been on this date. So then people asked me about it, and then one of my colleagues, married woman, she goes to me, "Oh, have you heard from him since?" But like in a very like condescending, patronizing, very concerned way, as if she was expecting the answer to be no, basically. And I was like, "Yeah, of course I've heard from him since. The date was some time ago now." And then she was like, "Oh, okay, good." And I'm a bit like, why would I not have heard from him? And then later on, I think there was some more discussion in it. I kind of made them aware that I'm not just dating one person, that I've been on a few dates with a few different people. Then I kind of alluded to the fact that maybe there was one person that had my attention a little bit more than the others. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, you need to be really mean to him. You need to be mean." And I was like, "Why do I need to be mean to anyone that I'm dating?" And she was like, "Oh, well, you know what they say, treat them mean, keep them keen." And I was like, first of all, who asked you? Did I ask you for dating advice? Like, nobody wants to breastfeed your mom's beach cobbler, bitch. Like, okay, because you're married, you automatically start giving me unsolicited dating advice. No thanks. And then second of all, like, why would I need to be mean to someone in order to keep them keen and interested in me? I mean, like, you can see me. We've had a few conversations. You can see that I'm a vibe. Like, why do you instantly assume that I need to have some sort of, like, tactic to date or whatever? And then another thing that people do, which is very weird, is, like, they assume that your whole life is geared around finding a man or, like, trying to attract someone. So, like, I was on a girls' trip a few months ago, and then we were talking about cosmetic surgery, and I said I was still toying with the idea of, like, getting a BBL or something like that, right? And then my friend was like, "No, don't do it. Men don't find that attractive, you know." And yes, she was married. And I'm still here 7 months later trying to figure out why what men find attractive is relevant in a conversation about what I want to do with my body.
At first, she was talking. I was thinking, there is hope. Then she said, "Why would I care what men find attractive to do what I want with my body? All hope is lost." Man, think you got a good one? She ends up being not good. Yeah, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out. See you next video.